welcome to Real Bass Lessons. Today you're in for a special treat. I'm going to teach you some Motown here, but I'm also going to show you a couple of basses, and I'm going to challenge you to transcribe the bass line from the video you watched in the opening here, and I'm going to play it again for you. This is from just a little video I made, a sort of an impromptu thing leading up to one of my bass workouts, a Motown bass workout, and I made 10 of them in a row, like countdown to it. And I happen to like it. It's steeped in Jamerson, of course. You know, I steal everything from Jamerson. But it's actually in this book, too, this Reading Motown Bass book. And I'll play and work with the first line, but it's your job to learn the whole solo. Now, some folks say, Jim, that's just too hard. Well, I've got tons and tons of very elementary Motown teaching videos here on Real Bass Lessons. Go back and work through them. And or, if it's too difficult, guess what? Just repeat, repeat, repeat. Here's a question I ask people sometimes, and they sort of think I'm being kind of smart with it, but here's the reality. This thing, I believe, is 24 measures long. Do you figure if you spend an hour nonstop, you might be able to get it? Well, some people say, sure. Others go, my God, no way. Well, how about if we spent 5 hours working on it from beginning to end? Either right in a row, 5 hours straight, or 1 hour each day. What if we spent 20 hours on it? Of course you could learn it. Now, if you're at the physical level where you can't, like I said, you got to go back and do some of the preliminary ones. But I'm positive if you want to, you can get this one. This is how I work with many of my students, actually all of them. We practice all sorts of stuff, and then I say, here, copy this. And it's either me live playing or it's a video I've made for them. And man, you just go to work after it, okay? Cool. Let's look at this bass here. This is a bass I'm going to play a little bit here to teach you with. And I don't know if this one's on the video or not, because quite frankly, guess what? I've got two of them. This one here is, let me figure this out. This is a 1969. And it's interesting. It's in that era where it's pre-CBS. This one's a 1970. I've had this one for a number of years. This one I just bought, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. Both of them have been refinished. You know, I like this color, and the basses were, terrible. I know, don't ever refinish a bass. Well, sometimes they need it. And some of the unique things about these instruments, which I really like, this exact era here, and that is the neck is very unique. It's a little thinner at the nut. I think it's 1.625, don't quote me on that, but I know it's not your typical. And at the same time, though, the actual neck shape, it's a little bit larger here and almost thinner here. I forget the exact specs, but it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of a cool feel. It's just right straight up and down. I think it was when they were trying to make them kind of old feeling, but yet new feeling at the same time. Both of the instruments are, pretty much original. I think one of them has I always forget which one's which. One of them, that's why I put the, the pickup cover down here on this one, so I can sort of tell them the difference. I don't remember, I can remember this one's the 69, this is a 70. If I didn't have the cover on it, the tray on it, I wouldn't be able to tell. But both of them have, a couple of non-original parts. One of them has an extra pickup. One of them, extra, a new pot. One of them, the pickups are actually not the originals, but they're from a 2011 custom shop bass of this era, and they were taken out. But it feels unbelievable. It's never been refretted or everything. It just feels right, and I dig it. Check it out. Yeah, I dig it. It's got that old sound. And of course, when I'm playing Motown, I typically use the mutes, huh? Cool. Let me teach you a little bit of this song now, okay? Check it out. First measure. You say, I've heard that. You bet. It's a classic Jamerson lick. Let's play it a little bit together. I'm doing a little wrong. It's got an extra pickup in it. Listen. There it is. Let's do that with a little metronome. Loop it. 2, ready, play. I keep forgetting. I keep leaving that one out. That little dot. Let's look at it again. Here it is. There it is. 2, ready, play. Now that's the gist of the whole song. The song actually, there's too many variations in here for me to teach you the whole thing here, but you watch that video and cop them, and yeah, it's going to take some work at it. But that is the gist, that rhythm there, okay? Let me play the first line for you now, and you'll see how it's similar but different. A little sloppy. Let me do it again. Ready, play. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Matter of fact, let's loop that a little bit. Sure, some of you are going to, well, you know, advanced enough, you can just jump in and play it with me. Let's loop a little bit. Just that first line. 1, 2, ready, play. Again. Cool, I was just thinking. Man, that's good enough on its own, isn't it, huh? Just learn that little riff there and you can groove like crazy, man. Over and over and over. Now again, there's a bunch more stuff, but of course you need to go back and look at it, okay? Let's talk about that just a little bit more. Some people say, man, Jim, I just don't know how to transcribe. One note at a time. I have transcribed tons of music in my life. You know, lots of jazz, a lot of bebop, a lot of funk, a lot of Motown, everything really. And for me, still it's the same thing, one note at a time. Now, every once in a while I hear boom, ba-do-do, and I go, oh, I know that one. How do I know it? Because I've done it so many times, and I've done it one note at a time. So that's how you do it. I know that it's just challenging. Some people want it faster. They say, give me the tab, give me the notation. Well, if you want the notation, you can get the book. But the truth is if you'll just watch this little video. By the way, that little video is 1 minute long, if you hadn't noticed that, where I'm playing this song. So it's, you go, that's not long. Well, it's also only 24 measures. What if you spent about 15 to 20 minutes on every single measure? Man, you'd have it down. Plus, I can tell you just by looking at it here, there's a whole bunch of duplication. That first measure happens a bunch. Actually, the second, all of them, they happen a bunch of times. Okay? Cool. Let me pick up this other bass here. I've been hold of that one. You can look at that one. Here's see, this one's the 69. That's right. Cool. What do you think, huh? Great feel instrument. They're identical in their shape and sizes. Actually, one of them is this one, I think. Yeah, this one weighs 8 pounds 3 ounces, and this one's 8 pounds 6 ounces. All those ones of that vintage era, they were pretty light, and I enjoy that myself. I feel like they really vibrate. There's just a lot more life in them that way. They sound pretty much identical. I don't think I can tell them apart on recording. Okay? So here comes that video again. Just watch it and have some fun with it. Get it down. Fired up.